Nope.
Hi. This is Detective Dave Cox with a public service announcement from the NYPD, as well as wanting to wish all of you happy festivities this fine September. I'm here to remind you to avoid using elevators unless absolutely necessary, and of course, not to enter any Sumic branded elevators at all costs. You can recognize Sumic elevators by the logo embedded on the side wall. If you do spot one or suspect so, please report it to us as soon as possible. Thank you. If you're reading this document, you probably already know about the danger. I just wanted the header to serve as a reminder in case you forgot. I simply cannot stress this enough. Do not take risks with elevators. The reason I am writing this document is so that all of you journalists could get off our back and let us investigate. This is a summary of all we know so far, much of which you have already heard in the news. We are not hiding any relevant information from the press or the public. The department will not be taking any questions or interviews regarding the case until further notice. Timeline: June 9th, 2017. On the afternoon of June 9th, 14-year-old Jennifer Hartwith went to visit a classmate, Mike Terrence, at his new apartment at 21 Avenue. The apartment building is new and equipped with CCTV cameras, as well as a recently installed Sumic brand elevator. Mike noticed Jen from his porch and waved to her. She waved back at him and entered the elevator lobby. CCTV footage last captured her going inside the elevator shaft. That evening, Jennifer's parents called Mike, asking for their daughter's whereabouts. After learning that she had not arrived at Mike's home, the parents notified the police at 9:32 p.m. Police promised to investigate, but did not have any reason to regard her disappearance as suspicious. It was only when she didn't arrive the next day to school that the police began to investigate more thoroughly. There was no CCTV footage of Jennifer leaving the apartment complex, and therefore, police concluded that one of the residents had something to do with the disappearance. However, all residents of the complex complied to a warrantless house search, and no trace of Jennifer was found. Given the circumstances of her disappearance, Jennifer is most likely the first victim of the Sumic elevators. July 4th, 2017. The disappearance of 27-year-old Heather Hayes is our first confirmed victim of the Sumic elevators. Heather worked as a data analyzer for well-known cable company Simtax at their headquarters in 53 Lake Street. The building has extensive CCTV coverage, including inside the elevator. At 12:17 p.m., Heather entered the Sumic branded elevator, assumingly to go outside for a smoke. She has not been seen again. When she does not come home that night, her husband calls the police. Police, through CCTV footage and witnesses, learn that Heather never left the building. Her disappearance is caught in the elevator CCTV. Many of you have already seen the now public footage. Heather enters the elevator and presses the button to the lobby. She appears to be browsing her phone when the CCTV suddenly goes black for several frames. When it turns back on, Heather is missing. Police dismiss this as a technical bug. A repairman is sent to fix the CCTV problems. July 25th, 2017. Seeking further information, fellow NYPD officer John Chaffee returns to the Simtex headquarters to interview work colleagues about Heather's disappearance. At 10:54 a.m., after he is done questioning, he takes the elevator back down and is never seen again. After not responding to several radio call-ins, I go myself to investigate. The CCTV footage resembled that of Heather's disappearance. It was at this point we began to suspect foul play. We searched the elevator shaft for anything suspicious, but found nothing. The security man that was in charge of watching the CCTV cameras was taken into the police station, but was later released due to lack of evidence. August 12, 2017. Christian Carl, a 42-year-old private plumber from Maine, was last spotted exiting a customer's apartment. The customer had called in for Christian to fix the sink. After doing so, the customer accompanied Christian to the elevator at approximately 3:30 p.m. When Christian didn't come home by the next morning, his wife alerted the police. Upon arriving, police noticed that his service car was still parked outside of the apartment. Police began noticing striking similarities to the other disappearances. August 17th, 2017. This was the most prolific disappearance of all, and has been extensively covered on the media. 7 employees, Cheryl Marsh, Marcus Wheeler, Jana Coral, Myrtle Klein, Louise McCormick, Willis Costello, and Joanne Allen, working at the Plaza skyscraper, disappeared after taking the Sumic elevator to the lobby at 6:33 p.m. The elevator stopped at floors 6, 5, and 3 to pick up the employees. The location of the disappearance is suspected to be between the 3rd and 1st floor. Theories and investigation. Following the August 12th disappearance, we set up a joint task force to investigate the elevator disappearances as related. Sadly, none of the crime scenes left any forensic evidence that we can connect. However, we did notice that the disappearances all happened in New York, in Sumic branded elevators, and that all the elevators had been installed or repaired recently. Our first line of investigation was to question the manufacturers of the elevators. However, the lack of information has left us even more baffled. When we interviewed the contractors who hired the company, they all claimed that Sumic Elevators representatives reached out to them by phone or in person. The company marketed itself as a newly formed startup, claiming to transform the way elevators worked. They provided a construction license and offered a very low price, and so the contractors agreed. When we tried calling the company back, the line was dead. We also found no records of the company ever being registered. We could not even identify the men who installed the elevators. Therefore, we ask that anyone who recognizes them from the CCTV footage or the eyewitness sketches report to us immediately. It is important to note that our investigation is still very recent, and we've yet to find out any more information. Our main theory is that the disappearances are the work of a very calculated group of killers. However hard it is to believe, It may be possible that the group has managed to somehow hide in the shaft and then somehow attack and dispose of the victims. It may not seem plausible, but it seems reasonable enough given the circumstances. Our second theory is that the victims willfully climbed out into the elevator shaft, possibly aided by others. The motive is still unknown, but they could have arranged for their disappearance. It is, however, unlikely, as the majority of the victims led a happy and loved life with no reason to arrange such drastic measures. It is of course possible that the victims were lured into that shaft by gunpoint and then somehow removed and disposed of. Since the case has garnered media attention, we have received hundreds of tips and theories regarding the missing people. We are exploring every line of inquiry possible, and we ask that if you have any information to please call our special hotline. Thank you for your cooperation. Detective Dave Cox, NYPD. Hello, dear listener. Thank you for clicking on this week's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to hit that thumbs up down below, and if you haven't already, subscribe for future videos. Guys, summer has pretty much come to an end, and the only real saving grace there is that Halloween is right around the corner. Who else is excited? Because I know I am. Alright guys, until next week, remember to stay safe out there. I'll be seeing you in the next video.